Welcome to Fraud Friday. I'm Bob Coleman. This is a twist. The fraud is of a Max McDermott of Newport Beach, California, for lying to a bank. What he did is he got a $10 million bank loan, but prosecutors say the money was supposed to expand his real estate businesses. He was going to buy an escrow company, another type of companies. Instead, he took that $10 million and used it to repay old investors in an attempt to quiet an SEC investigation of a previous fraud. He was arrested last month, and the SEC had been poking around into his companies for a $100 million investment scheme. The company's Secured Income Group. Facing mounting pressure from the SEC, he turned to the bank to get the loan. What was documented as the business expansion became, according to the feds, a deliberate misuse of bank funds designed to keep the regulators at bay. And that's the fraud. He lied to the bank about what he was doing with the money. And that is a fraud. If you're an FDIC insured institution, why can you not lie to a bank? Well, because they have depositor funds at risk. And if the bank makes too many bad loans, the Fed's going to close the bank and there will be a loss to the government. And that's why the twist is you cannot lie to your banker, as you can't lie to the FBI or any other federal enforcement officials. After he got the money, he kept the truth from the lender. For months, he assured the lender, I'm working at it. I'm trying to close these deals. But in October 12th, 2022, he finally met with the banker and said, hey, you know what? I'm really under SEC investigation, and I used that money to pay back old investors so they wouldn't come after me and charge me criminally. The disclosure connected his original misrepresentation to the subsequent transfers of money, forming the basis for wire fraud and money laundering charges. When McDermott first applied for the loan from the bank, he said to the bank specifically, hey, I'm not under any investigation, nor are my companies from any government agency. That's a normal disclosure. The bank's not going to loan you money if you're being investigated by the SEC. The bank knew that he was accepting investor funds, perfectly legitimate. But and I love what the prosecutors say. And as often happens in this situation, when you're taking investors' money, sometimes greed slips into it and you end up pocketing some of it on your own. He was the founder and chief executive of Secured Income Group, in a real estate lending and investment firm. He started this in July of 2017. He raised the $100 million, promising them secured debentures. The promise was straightforward. Investor funds would be pooled to make short-term real estate loans for who? For flippers, for investors, for contractors who wanted to fix up the house and fix it, and told investors, hey, you're going to get a first lien on that property. I'm going to loan the money. I'm going to make sure it's done as promised. And for that, I'm going to pay you like a CD. You're going to get better returns than the CD. You're going to get 6 to 9%. And that's where the SEC gets curious whenever these financial investment firms promise fixed rate of returns. And that is a huge red flag. If they are participating in a business risk, well, the return can be over 9%. It can even be a loss. But when you promise a fixed rate of return, the SEC wants to know why you're smarter than everyone else and being able to return higher returns than what you can in the stock market. The SEC was by then was onto him. The model was breaking down. The problem for McDermott is when he originated the loans, he also then took those debentures and sold them off to another third party, pocketing more cash. So what happened is you're the investor in Southern California. It's $1 million house. You buy that. You give them $500,000 for the first lien, and more money than they'll fix it up and be able to flip it. But the problem is he took that note and then he sold it off to another third party. So he's double dipping. By late 2019, he owed investors $61 million, but owned only $21 million in loans secured by the real estate. A year later, the debt had grown to $86 million, while its portfolio remained the same. There was a collateral shortfall of 70%. Despite that, McDermott continued to market the investment as fully secured. He's in 2020, he sent investors a loan portfolio summary claiming to hold 271 active loans for $76 million, backed by $115 million in praised collateral. His website is great. It says, exceeding investor expectations. He promised, or he represented that he had over $2 billion worth of loans dealing with investors in 4 states. By early 2021, SIG's loan income could no longer sustain the investor repayments, i.e. Ponzi scheme. He began liquidating assets and transferring funds from his other companies to meet the obligations. To his credit, he stopped taking new money, but he continued to reassure investors that the principal was secure, i.e. he was getting sued and was trying to fend off the barbarians from the gate. The SEC filed its complaint in 2022, and what's interesting, that wasn't a criminal action. It was a complaint saying, hey, these funds are being misused. We want to take action to recoup as much money as we can for the investors. At the time of the filing, he was able to reduce that debt down to $16 million, but he had $16 million owing plus $1 million in interest, but there was no collateral. So that's when the bank got involved. He approached the bank, said, hey, I need $10 million to buy these other companies. Instead, what did he do? He took the $10 million, paid off the old investors. So he's facing the 1 count of wire fraud, 1 count of money laundering. And if you want to get into the weeds, that is the crime, where he took the money from the bank and then wired it to his old investors. So the prosecution of the Department of Justice says, yeah, he lied to the bank, but the actual crime on that is what we're going to nail you on, is taking those misgotten loan proceeds and wiring to his previous investors. I'm Bob Coleman. This is Fraud Friday.